The North Dakota Highway Patrol says 3 people are dead after 2 vehicles collided head-on near Fessenden. Troopers say one van driven by a 54-year-old Maple Plains, Minnesota man tried to pass a semi-trailer on State Highway 52 and struck another van head-on. The incident occurred early Sunday night. Troopers say rain likely obstructed the man's vision. He died at the scene. Patrol also says 2 people from Jamestown were in the other vehicle. The 74-year-old male driver was pronounced dead at the scene. The 79-year-old female passenger was later pronounced dead at a Fargo hospital. The victims' names were not released pending notification of relatives. Today, an Oklahoma man has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. 65-year-old Gene Kirkpatrick of Jones, Oklahoma, hired his handyman to kill his son-in-law, Fargo dentist Philip Gattuso. A North Dakota jury found Kirkpatrick guilty of both murder and burglary conspiracy charges. Judge Stephen Marquardt told Kirkpatrick that those who testified on his behalf do not know his, quote, dark side. Gattuso's brother Roy said afterward he was elated with the sentence. Kirkpatrick's wife said afterwards that her husband was innocent and called Gattuso a, quote, prince of darkness. While hundreds of North Dakota cows are being flown to Kazakhstan. Being bred to withstand the North Dakota cold, the cattle are being shipped via jets from Fargo to Kazakhstan to aid in building the country's beef industry. Global Beef Consultants says it began shipping cattle to Kazakhstan last year. Bill Price, president of the Bismarck-based company, says more than 2,600 cows were shipped last year to Astana, Kazakhstan's capital. He says about the same number of cattle will be shipped this year under a deal with the former Soviet Republic's government. Price says 2 flights are planned weekly with about 200 cows per flight. The Burleigh County Sheriff's Department says the man charged with killing a Bismarck police officer is in the hospital after suffering a stroke. Lieutenant Gary Schaefer said 52-year-old Stephen Bannister is being guarded at all times while he undergoes treatment at a Bismarck hospital. Bannister pleaded not guilty in the July 8th killing of Sergeant Stephen Kenner. Kenner was shot while responding to a domestic disturbance call. He was the first Bismarck police officer killed while on duty. Bannister missed his September 26 hearing due to an unknown medical problem. Well, new research indicates that household income has decreased more in the 2 years following the recession than the actual recession itself. Between the end of the recession in mid-2009 and June 2011, the inflation-adjusted median household income fell more than 6% to $49,000. During the recession, from December 2007 to June 2009, household income fell only 3.2%. President Obama referred to the economic situation as an emergency. Over the weekend, Mr. Obama scolded Republicans for rejecting his jobs bill that included tax cuts that would increase take-home pay. Republicans counter by saying Mr. Obama is responsible for the economic slump. The Senate will begin debating the jobs bill this week. Today, the Coptic Christian Church in Egypt criticized Egypt's government for the way it handled the protest in Cairo last night that left at least 24 people dead. Some families will be burying loved ones that were shot, beaten, or crushed by military vehicles. The church claims that military and police forces turned a peaceful protest into a riot in order to justify the deaths of the protesters. 17 families of those killed refused to permit the government to perform autopsies, fearing they would lie about the results to protect those that killed the protesters. The protest began after a demonstration by people who were angry about a recent attack on a church. Thomas J. Sargent and Christopher A. Sims have won a Nobel Prize for Economics, according to the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences. The 2 Americans won the prize on Monday for their, quote, empirical research on cause and effect in the macroeconomy, end quote. The 2 apparently developed methods for answering questions regarding how economic growth and inflation are affected by a temporary increase in the interest rate or a tax cut. Mr. Sargent and Mr. Sims conducted their research throughout the 1970s and 80s. Today, the methods developed by Sargent and Sims are essential tools in macroeconomic analysis, the prize committee said. Sargent is a professor at New York University and Sims is a professor at Princeton University. Well, we certainly had a rainy weekend. Jessica Gulseth is here now to tell us if the rain will continue through the week. Jessica?
Thanks. Today is Columbus Day, so go out and celebrate. Discover something new. Today we can say we discovered some showers. It's been a bit of a gloomy day. A little chilly as well. It was only about 60 degrees. Tonight we will continue our voyage through the rain as wind kicks up to about 8 miles per hour with a low around 45 degrees. Tuesday will be warmer than today with a high of 69 degrees, but as the day progresses into night, we may see some showers again. Wednesday will look much like today, and tomorrow we will see highs in the low 60s and slightly breezy. Again, a slight chance of rain, of which we will see Thursday as well. Thursday will be cooler with highs in the upper 50s. Friday will be cooler yet with the highs in the low 50s. Obviously, this week is much different than last week. It will be rainy for most of the week with temperatures in the mid-60s. Last week, we saw an average of 75 degrees for most of the week, and it was fairly dry. So get those umbrellas and jackets ready. It looks like you will be using them a lot this week.
Thanks, Jessica. The Jimmies had a very busy weekend in sports. The volleyball team kicked things off on Friday by defeating the Valley City Vikings 3-1. On Saturday, the Jimmy volleyball team was able to pick up 2 sweeps. The Jimmies were able to sweep Mayville and Dickinson State in 3 games. The Jimmy football team was also in action away from home on Saturday. The Jimmies played a road game against Wisconsin lacrosse and suffered a 6-42 defeat. The cross-country team competed at the Roy Granger Invite in Aberdeen on Friday afternoon. The men's team was led by J.J. Korber with a time of 28:38 on the 8K course. Korber's time was good enough for a 15th place overall. Aliona Reyes won the even on the women's side of things. Reyes ran the 5K course in 19:06. Tomorrow, the men's soccer team will host Concordia Moorhead at 7 p.m. on the Rotary Soccer Field. Well, that's the news for October 10th, 2011. I'm Kaleb Hruby. Join us again tomorrow when we'll once again connect the campus with the community.